The final playoff game that I'm going to talk about is the sixth matchup, the Monday night late night game, the Arizona Cardinals versus the LA Rams. And this game is interesting because, again, just like the Bills Patriots game, it is another divisional rivalry game, another third round of these teams playing, and just like the Bills Patriots, they both split these two meetings before early in the season. In week 4, the Cardinals beat the Rams 37-20. This is on the Cardinals' hot start to the season. And then later on in week 14, the Rams edged out the Cardinals 30-23. The Rams won in Arizona and the Cardinals won in LA, and this game is being played in Los Angeles. In my opinion, this is one of the more interesting games because both of these teams don't like to be consistent. Some games they come out and look like they're Super Bowl contenders, Super Bowl favorites even, and other times they come out and lose to the Detroit Lions. So you really don't know what you're going to get from these two teams. Personally, I'm going to have to go with the Rams on this one. I just think Stafford's going to get it done, and I think the reason why is I think they have the better coach. I trust Sean McVay more than I trust Kingsbury. I think Kingsbury's a very good coach, but McVay's been in the playoffs before. He led Jared Goff of all quarterbacks to the Super Bowl. I think he can find a way to get one win with Matthew Stafford. Now, as far as making a run, I don't think either one of these teams are going to do that. But as far as getting a win, I see it happening. Take a look at their schedules. They've had some good wins and questionable losses. Like I said, last week was a questionable collapse for the Rams, up 17, fell off and lost in overtime in a game they could have won. And then even the week before, letting the Ravens with Tyler Huntley make it a game competitive. I know they were on the road, but they really should have just ran away with that one, and they ended up having it come down to the wire and only winning by one. And then just early on in their season, they'd have tough losses against. They had a huge win against the Buccaneers, beat Tom Brady early in the season. That was a really like almost a signature win for them. Then they followed up with a bad loss to the Cardinals, and it's not a bad loss because the Cardinals are very good, but it's just the way they lost that game. And later on, they kind of got embarrassed by the Titans at home. That was a game Stafford struggled, and Stafford's been struggling for a little bit now. But I'm hoping he gets it right and finds a way to win. I'm rooting for him. I'm fine with both these teams. I got no issues with them, no rivalries, nothing like that. And honestly, this is one of the games where it's like, I'm just going to watch it. I'm going to enjoy it. I really do not care who wins. It'd be cool to see Stafford get his first playoff win. It'd be cool to see Kyler Murray get his great playoff win. It's going to be a good game. These two teams don't like each other. But I feel like, as most other fan bases don't really have problems with these teams, so it's just a cool game to watch. And I think I can speak for most people and say that the winner of this game will be rooting for to beat the Buccaneers because if that's who they play, or the Packers, if that's just the way it works, we'll be rooting for them in the next round because nobody wants to see those teams again. As terms of making a run towards the Super Bowl, I think either one of these teams could do it. They've proven to be good enough teams when they're playing right, but they haven't been consistent enough at playing right to be able to, bet on them or have confidence in them to make a run. They're just too inconsistent. Like I mentioned, some of the Rams games. Let's take a look at some of the Cardinals games. As we all know, the Cardinals had that bad loss, 30-12 to the Lions, and they also had the bad 34-10 loss to the Panthers. As far as signature wins for the Cardinals, they're also coming off a loss. I know they didn't really try too hard in that game, didn't really mean much for them, but they still lost 38-30 to the Seahawks last week. But they've had some impressive wins early on in the season. Started the season off 7-0, big win over the Browns. They swept the 49ers in their season series, and they killed the Titans in week 1, and the Titans ended up being a 1 seed. So it's just crazy how things like this play out. They played a really tough game against the Packers in that Thursday night game, but they've been solid all season. Kind of struggling as of late, but they had that win over the Dallas that really just makes you think, okay, they got it. That was a good win back in week 17. But going towards this game, I really don't know what Cardinals we're gonna get, what Rams we're gonna get, and that's why I don't have much confidence in either one of these teams to make a run. I think maybe this first game the Rams come out and they destroy the Cardinals defense, and then we're like, oh, maybe they can beat the Buccaneers again. But I just don't see it happening. One of these teams could come out and play a really nice game today or this on Monday, and then come out the next week and just be like, wow, how did this team even make the playoffs? And that's a very rare possibility. Or they both could come out and be sloppy, something like that. But I'm just rooting for a good game. I think the Rams are going to find a way to do it. As far as score goes, I think it's going to be relatively low scoring. I think both these offenses have been struggling lately. Kyler Murray and Matt Stafford both like to take deep shots, and I can see in a playoff game tighter coverages, just better performances by defensive players and everybody in general. And maybe these guys in their first playoff game want to do a little too much. I could see both of them throwing a pick, and I'm thinking somewhere in the 24 to maybe 20 range, something like that. Get some wacky numbers with some field goals, stuff like that. But I'm gonna pick the Rams on this one. It's no disrespect to Kyler Murray. I think he's a great player. I think he's gonna win lots of playoff games in his career. But I think this is gonna be Stafford's year. The Cardinals aren't quite ready, in my opinion. They've got some injuries, but I got the Rams this week.